I am a massive cheapskate, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. This hobby is a money pit, and it has a lot to answer for when it comes to my bank balance. Something that you learn early on is that a lot of the time when buying cheap gear, you get burned. The thing is though, not all of us can afford top-end gear such as Cobra motors, Luminaire motors, KISS ESCs, etc. A lot of the time I can only make videos of great products because they send them to me, but sometimes, in rare occasions, clones are released of top-end gear and they are just as good. Some people will say that it is best to support the original makers of the product and pay that much more to support development, while others will be like me, and if there is a cheaper option out there, they will go for it, because money doesn't grow on trees. Whether it's right or wrong, it is your opinion and I respect that. My opinion on this is that the cloners keep the high-end manufacturers on their toes and encourage them to make better products, but of course people will disagree and that is fine also. You can battle out that subject as much as you like in the comments and I'm sure that you will. I noticed this brand come up on Banggood called Racerstar. It's a fairly new brand, but you name it and they seem to have come up with their own version of it. From B Al-Hali 20 amp to 30 amp ESCs, a 4-in-1 B Al-Hali ESC similar to the Typhoon board that I used on the Mini Owl. Then there's the motors. We have every size you can think of: 2205, 2206, 1104, 1804, 2403, 1103, 1806, man, they have got the genre covered. Not only that, but all of the prices undercut their competitors by a massive amount. The motor that I am most interested in is their 2205 2300 kV motor. They cost just £5.80 each, or £21 for 4. My last order at Domino's came to more than that. In comparison, the Emax 2205 red bottom motors are £13 each, which is almost 3 times as much. So if this motor can perform, the entire brand is going to cause a stir in the mini quad scene, in my opinion. To be honest, I've had these motors a few weeks now, and I planned on making a quad with them, but this is going to take a lot of time, which is short for me at the moment. So for now, I want to see if these motors are up to scratch. I'm going to put them on my thrust test stand, which was provided to me by Banggood.com. The motors I have bought myself because they are so cheap, so let's see how I get on. Before I start the test, there's a couple of things I want to mention. I went for these motors as they are the cheapest. Their 2206 motors are not too far behind, however, these ones attracted me due to their nylon locking nuts. Their 2206 motors use auto-locking spinners, which I'm not too much of a fan of. One thing that I'm unsure about is that the motors do use nylon locking nuts, but they are still directional. The red nuts are a counterclockwise thread and the black nuts are clockwise. There's no need for this in my opinion, as nylon locking nuts will work regardless of the direction. But that's a minor detail, I guess. I have some of the Racerstar ESCs as well, but I want to see how it handles using my top-end KISS ESC. The prop is the RotorGeeks HQ5040 3-leaf prop, and the battery is the Luminaire 1300 4S. Using Cobra motors, this produced 945 grams of thrust on a full battery, so let's see how close these £5.80 motors can get to that. These motors produced a peak thrust of 917 grams, which for the price is pretty amazing. I think if I couple this power with some weight-saving components on a frame, we could have a really cheap setup here with the potential to match something like my Alien frame with Luminaire motors on it. For those interested, the amp draw was 24.33 amps. The voltage sag wasn't bad at all at around 0.6 volts, and the overall watt figure is 388 watts. Those stats are almost identical to the Cobra motors, with only the thrust being slightly lower. I have to say that I'm pretty thrilled with these motors. The test does not show their durability, however I can confirm that they feel pretty solid. In general, the motors run smoothly, and when turned by the hand, they also feel smooth. Time will tell if they become a credible motor for a mini quad, but it is looking good. I will be building a mini quad using the Racerstar component soon to compete with my top-end alien frame. I think it might be in trouble. At the moment, I am working a full-time job as well as making YouTube videos. This may change in October, so I will be able to dedicate a lot more time to this channel, so stay tuned. I will put a link in the description to these motors and also the other Racerstar components. I think they are definitely worth a look. Thanks so much for watching this video. As always, please continue to subscribe. Cheers.